Alright guys, so moving on to our next Patreon request, and this is a three-way crossover that comes from my friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who asked me to do a Digital Circus, Code Lyoko, and Reboot crossover. So I want to thank him for this one. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So, the story basically is that it's just after going on another quest set up by Kane, everyone is just kind of exhausted. Of course, poor Pomni is having another existential crisis. But during all this, Jax is just kind of bored. Like, Jax himself is bored over the whole mission. He didn't get to cause a lot of chaos. He didn't really get to do much other than, you know, just kind of be snarky and be cruel, basically cruel to everyone. So Jax is just kind of in his room, just like lousy, stupid. I wish I had some actual, like, you know, I wish I actually like got to do something fun. Like I want like, this is getting boring. Like, this is getting legit boring for me. I want to do something other than this, you know, typical bullshit. So, thankfully, what he discovers is that someone has found their way into the circus unbeknownst to Kane, and basically they're calling out to Jax. That person, or rather thing, is Xana, who has managed to find the digital circus after, you know, expanding itself out into the internet. So Xana manages to more or less like get through the void and find its way to the digital circus, where Xana makes contact, like a shadow on the wall for Jax, and it's just like, so you're Jax, so you must be Jax. It's so nice to meet you. I've been exploring your little circus. It's been fascinating, but I want to know what this is all about. And he's like, "Are you one of Kane's new quests?" I don't feel like it. And he's like, "No, I'm not Kane. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Xana, and you could be a great asset to me." And he's like, "Go on." And so Xana also, the other thing is like, why doesn't he just possess Jax? Is because whatever kind of digital transference it had to bring human people here to the digital circus, it basically is preventing Xana from possessing people. Like, he's been kind of slithering around trying to possess like Ragatha and Pomni and the others, and also trying to keep out of Kane's sight because he doesn't want to reveal himself too soon. So he figures, well, if I can't possess them, maybe I can get them to join me. So Jax is like, are we gonna do some crazy shit? And he's like, oh, we will start all the crazy shit. So what Xana wants to know is like, what's this place? You know, why is it all the way out here? He's like, I couldn't tell you. I've been here for God knows how long, and I don't know. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a crazy shit show, but we got something that might interest you. Oh, demonic entity. So Jax tells him about the abstracts, and that's when Xana gets really interested. And he's like, "Can you bring me some of those? Like, can you legit bring me some of those? Like, I could try." And he's like, "Perfect. You know, I think this will be a good relationship for both of us." He's like, "I hope so." So Jax goes back to his room thinking about like what he can do to bring the abstracts to Xana. But at that same time, that's when he gets another message, because someone else found their way to the digital circus, that being Megabyte. So Megabyte hasn't been able to physically be there like Xana. He's basically he's basically connected to it. So he's like talking to Jax through screens. And he's like, and he's like, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Megabyte, I'm a virus, and I want to conquer this digital circus. And in his head, Jax is just like, oh, here we go. Today's gonna be a good day. So he's like, yeah, what can I do for you? He's like, I want to know about this place, where you come from. And Jax tells him. So now Jax also tells him about the abstracts, and everything else about this world. And Megabyte is like, I could use someone like you, Jax. And he's like, you're not the only one. So, as from here on out, Jax basically plays both sides, while Xana and Megabyte are like talking to Jax and like trying to figure out a way to get into the digital circus. And during all this, like, Kane is none the wiser, because they're trying their best to stay out of Kane's line of sight, because they're like, he's an unknown, and like even Xana mentions that, like, because Jax says, hey, if you're so powerful, Xana, why don't you just go, kill Kane yourself? And he's like, Kane is like this unknown entity that I've never come across. I can't possess him, and he also exudes a lot of power, so I don't know the full extent of his power. And he's like, I know the full extent of his crazy. He's like, that's true. So Xana and Megabyte basically say the same thing about Kane, where he's like, he's an unknown element, and he's basically, something they don't want to fight. Like, something because they don't know how strong he is. They just know he's an unknown element and don't want to essentially get on that, find out. They don't want to fuck around and find out, is what I'm trying to say. They just don't want to fuck around and find out as to what the whole problem is, what Kane's whole thing is. So Jax basically jerks both Megabyte and Xana around separately until they're both getting frustrated, and is like, show us the abstracts, and they're both like, Rabbit, we could kill you or get you out of here, but we could just put you in a deeper hole. They don't know about each other. They're just basically saying the same thing. Until Jax is like, finally, this is getting boring. Like, I thought it'd be fun to play both sides of a conflict you guys didn't know you were a part of. And he's like, and Megabyte and Xana are both like, what? Oh yeah, this is Megabyte meet Xana. Xana, Megabyte. And they're like, who the fuck are you? So that's when Xana's like, enough of this, and starts sending in his own monsters while Megabyte sends his viruses. And the two just goes into all-out war. And Kane is like, ho, I guess in an episode of Pure Madness, I created a new mission for you. And Pomni and everyone else is just freaking out and caught in the middle of all this. So all the Xana's monsters and Megabyte's viruses are fighting each other in the midst of the digital circus. And then Kane realizes, wait a minute, I don't recall having a bout of madness today. I know my episodes. And just with a snap of his fingers, deletes all of the monsters and viruses. And Xana and Megabyte are like, we gotta go. So they leave, and everyone else looks at Jax, and they're like, Jax, do you have something to say? And he's like, I plead the fifth. Kane is like, Jax, you pitted two monsters against each other to protect us. That's amazing. Good job, Jax. And he's like, no, that's sure, whatever you want to fucking believe. But, yeah, so Jax gets away scot-free, and he's just like, it's getting boring anyway. So there you go, guys. That is the Digital Circus Code Lyoko reboot crossover. I figured rather than do something grandiose, I figured I'd do something fun with just Jax fucking with everybody. Shenanigans with Jack. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? Comment below, let me know. Once again, I'd like to thank my friend Jason Voorhees 2011 for this Patreon request. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.